it's not a dress that's been worn by a bride before. So they're typically brand new dresses. It's overflow stock from designers and boutiques. So it's really important when you're searching for the best boutique for you as a bride. I would definitely, on the front side of the process, ask the boutique which way of shopping do they offer.
Welcome to the Plan Your Central Florida Wedding podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Schmidt, editor of Greater Orlando's top wedding publication, Orange Blossom Bride. I'm sure when you said yes, you had no idea you were jumping on this roller coaster that is wedding planning. The goal of this podcast is to help make the wedding planning process less stressful and a lot more fun. We'll provide you with great tips and ideas along with expert advice from some of the area's top wedding pros. So let's get started planning your Central Florida wedding. Wedding dress shopping will most likely be one of the first things that you do in the wedding planning process. And this can be a very special experience, but it's important to understand all your options prior to going on the search to say yes to the dress. In this episode, I'll be talking to Marbais of the Bridal Finery about the difference between off-the-rack and made-to-order wedding dresses. Bree is the business development and a bridal stylist at the Bridal Finery, which specializes in all things bridal fashion. From made-to-order dresses to off-the-rack and even accessories, they provide brides with a personalized experience to find their wedding day attire. So welcome, Bree.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited to have you because we're talking about something I know you're very passionate about because you love fashion and especially bridal fashion.
Yes.
Now, this is an interesting episode because off the rack is something that I think brides don't really think about. They don't even know that that's an option. And I know that's how the Bridal Finery first started, but now you guys offer both options. So let's talk about the different names that they may hear when it comes to the types of wedding dresses that they can purchase.
Yeah, so most commonly stores will offer one way of shopping normally, which would be reorder, made to order, special order. So that's the most common way of shopping. Typically when brides are coming into the store, like you said, they don't even realize that off the rack is an option for them. A lot of the times when you hear off the rack, brides instantly think consignment, which in our case it's not a dress that's been worn by a bride before. So they're typically brand new dresses. It's overflow stock from designers and boutiques. So it's really important when you're searching for the best boutique for you as a bride. I would definitely, on the front side of the process, ask the boutique which way of shopping do they offer. Do they offer both? And with the off the rack, is it in fact new dresses or are they consignment? Because sometimes if they say off the rack, it could mean consignment.
And that's a good point that I never thought about. I know Roberta and Tally are the owners, and when they very first started, they did do a little bit of consignment, but then they kind of weeded that out now. Yeah, and they are amazing at what they do. They've been doing, bridal fashion forever. So they really have an eye for looking for the dresses that they provide as off the rack, correct?
Yeah, so we actually hand select all of the gowns that we offer off the rack. So it's not like we don't know what's coming in, so we can get familiar with the dresses before they get here, make sure that they fit the need that we have for our brides in our store. So we are in fact hand picking all of the dresses from overflow from our designers that we partner with, as well as other high-end boutiques. So we have an idea of what's coming in, the condition, and all of that.
Now, when we talk about special order dresses, is that the same you said as made to order?
So made to order, special order, reorder all falls under the same category. So that's more of the traditional, you go in, the store will carry different samples of that one dress, but you'll try on the sample, you'll get measured, and then your measurements are plugged into that specific designer's size chart, and then a dress will actually be cut for you. So it'll be more of a 6 to 10 month process. Versus off the rack, the dress you try on is your dress. So there's no waiting at all with off the rack.
Okay, so you're going kind of into what the difference is between the two, which is great. So when we're talking about there's obviously, if you're getting it made to order, it's going to take a little bit
Mhm.
longer.
Yeah.
So you tend to recommend about 10 months out?
We say 10 months, yes, but because of the relationship we have with our designers and with us in particular, working with designers who are based in the US and Canada, if it is a scenario where you need it quicker, we typically will make it happen.
Okay. But
Yeah.
if you are, let's say, 4 months out, definitely
Yes.
off the rack is the way to go.
Yes. Yep, for sure. Off the rack is great for the bride who is more smart, sustainable, straightforward. If she's looking to have a designer dress, but is more of a, budget savvy bride, most of our off the rack are about 30 to 60% off of the regular retail, but you're still getting a great designer dress.
And that's a great option for the bride who does love fashion but may not have a budget
Yes.
for it. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. So what are some pros and cons? We just said that is a pro, obviously. You have a discounted price. But
Yeah.
what are some more pros or cons when it comes to off the rack?
So with off the rack, I mean, time and money are the first two. Another really cool thing about off the rack for us is the chances of another bride having your dress is probably slim to none, because with our off the rack collection, we typically only carry one of that style.
Mm-hmm.
So once it's sold and we don't have another one of it. So it's nice to know that there isn't going to be a ton of other brides in the Central Florida area with your dress.
Mm-hmm. Now,
So,
when we talk about cons, because all three of those are awesome pros, but it's
yeah.
not a perfect situation.
Yeah.
So, what are some of
I
the
would
cons?
say the cons would be the sizing.
Mm-hmm.
So we do carry a variety of sizing for off the rack. I would say probably 2 to 16 for off the rack collection. So sometimes we just don't have the right size.
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of our off the rack, the dresses are either discontinued or they're not available for reorder. So if the sizing doesn't work, there's really not another option with that.
Right. But with that, you do have a seamstress on hand at
We
your
do. So
shop.
we do. So we have a seamstress in house, and she's crazy talented. And it just has to make sense. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you'll be spending just as much in alterations as you did to purchase the dress. So sometimes, in all reality and financially, it might not make sense to try to make that dress work,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll help you find a great other option.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
in the case if that's not of a concern, just know that if you fall in love with something that's a little bit smaller, that
Yep.
the alteration department can
Yep.
work their
We can
magic.
typically size up about 2 sizes
Mm-hmm.
and then size down up to like 3 or 4 for sure.
And to your point about dresses being discontinued, some dresses have special appliques or lace or
Mhm.
something. So
Yep.
that would be in the case where you might not be able to make it work in that size situation.
And we'll always reach out to the designers of the dress. So say if it's a dress that is off the rack and the bride would like more applique, we'll always do our best to source the fabric.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't, we will find something as close as possible.
Okay, so there's still
Yeah.
options, even
There's
if it's
always
right.
options. Mhm.
Okay, now
Yeah.
when we go to made to order dresses, obviously the pro that you had mentioned was it's size to you. So that's nice. So the alterations when it comes is probably going to be pretty minimum. But what are some cons?
I would say it's time more than anything for the con with special order. If there is an instance where it is a short term and an off the rack dress just doesn't work and you want to reorder, there typically will be like a rush fee associated. So that could mean your dress could be a lot more than anticipated. So time is really the con with with the reorder collection.
Mm-hmm. These are all great tips and, telling us about the different types. But there's something that I thought of as we were talking, and that is trunk shows. I know that doesn't really fall in
Yeah.
either of those categories,
Yeah.
but I think it's something that brides don't really understand.
Yeah.
So do you want to explain a little bit
For
about what
sure.
a trunk show is? Because I know you guys do
Yeah.
them all the time.
Yeah, so we carry one of the designers that we carry, Inez DeSanto. She's based out of Toronto. So she is our number one designer that we reorder from. So we actually have one coming up in a few weeks. super exciting. So it is the one time that brides will be able to shop a designer's entire collection. So, for example, the one coming up in a few weeks will be the fall 2022 collection. So it's the only time that a bride will have complete access to the entire line, because then after the trunk show kind of does its thing and goes to the next store, then the owners of the boutique will then decide which dresses from that collection they want to keep in the store. So it's the best time for brides to see the entire collection, and it's normally the designer will do some type of incentive for shopping during the trunk show. So it might be a free custom change, a waive of a rush fee. So there's always an incentive tied with having access to the full collection.
And that's a great option if you really love a designer, because I think a lot
Yeah.
of brides will go on the website and they may fall in love with the dress, or they see it on Pinterest and they really want to try it on, and then they call and they, they don't have the whole line there, because I don't know if brides know this or not, but you guys actually have to purchase the dresses to have them in shops. So they don't purchase the whole line. They do the popular ones. So this is a great opportunity for you to get access to the whole line, like Brie was saying. So is there anything else, Brie, with OfftheRack, Reorder, trunk shows that you would like to add?
So if it is an instance where there's a specific dress that you're looking for and it's from one of the designers that we carry, which you can find on our website, we always recommend, if it's something, definitely reach out to us if it's a specific dress, and we can always try our best to have it sent in. So that's another perk that we do offer to our brides. If it's something that we don't carry a sample for, we will try everything that we can to source the dress. That way it's here for your appointment. We say try to give us like a 1 to 2 weeks, because sometimes the dress will be on a trunk show or at another boutique, but we do try our best to source any dresses that brides do want to see in the store that we have access to.
That's awesome. I didn't even realize you guys do that. So that would be great, but just remember, you got to tell them ahead of time, because they need that
definitely
leeway.
You can DM us, call the store, text us, just let us know, like, pictures, this is the one I'm really wanting to see, and we'll definitely try to source it for sure.
Wonderful. So if brides would like to come over to the Bridal Finery, why don't you tell us a little bit of how you guys operate as far as bridal appointments, and with them wanting either off the rack or made to order dresses?
Yeah. And a really great thing too to add, we also have off the rack accessories as well.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's awesome. Yeah. Ready to go.
Exactly. So if it's a bride who she's getting married in a month, and we can handle the full look for her. We have veils available for purchase right away. We have accessories available for purchase right away. Our designer is based in Miami for accessories, Maria Elena. And she's incredible with getting pieces to us very quickly, but we do have a collection of off the rack accessories as well. So that way we can take care of the full look in the store.
And if you by chance have already purchased your dress, you guys can handle the accessories for that as well.
So we, in addition to bridal appointments, we do private accessory styling. So you can either bring in your dress with you. If you haven't purchased from the Bridal Finery, that's totally fine. We do welcome you to bring your dress in so we can see it. You can slip it on, and we will do a private accessory styling. I would say 90% of the time we are working off of photos, because at the point when brides are coming into us for accessories, their dress is in the alteration phases. So don't be intimidated if you don't have your dress. We are able to style from photos. And if we have a dress that's very comparable to the bride's dress in the store and that they're comfortable with it, we'll have them slip on one of our samples so they can really get the full look.
And that's such a great option, because you guys are so experienced in the whole bridal world. So a lot of times, you don't, like, as a bride, you wouldn't know, well, maybe I like big dangly earrings, or maybe something more simple, long veil. You don't know. So going in to have somebody help you is such a great option. So
and we'll pin up, we're great with like the hair as well. So we have like bobby pins, hair ties. So we'll try to, kind of do a quick updo or do a half up, half down moment, so you can really see, because we're very much about our brides seeing as close as they can as to what it's going to look like on wedding day.
Well, and I say this because when I went to one of your fashion presentations, I think this was a couple years ago, Roberta and Tally were actually kind of doing the styling with the models, and they were pulling out lace and doing all these things that you wouldn't even think of. So having that customization and that personal one-on-one appointment is really great. So how would brides get in touch with you to book an appointment and talk to you about their wedding day attire?
Yeah, so we actually have our full calendar available through our website. You can always reach out via DM. We do have the store's cell phone number listed, so you can text us, call the store, really whichever way you're comfortable. We have our email listed there, but definitely send us over the inspiration photos. We love to learn as much as we can about our brides before they get into the store. That way, we're kind of already like girlfriends by the time they get here. We do host private appointments, which is wonderful because shopping can sometimes be a little intimidating and overwhelming, but it's such a fun time. We love our brides, and we'll find the dress.
Well, I appreciate you joining us today, and I hope it gave brides some insight onto what options are going to work best for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Check us out on Instagram. Feel free to DM us, whichever way works.
All right. Thank you so much, Bree.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Plan Your Central Florida Wedding Podcast. For more Orlando wedding inspiration and tips, head on over to orangeblossom.bride.com. And if you're looking for amazing wedding pros to help bring your wedding day together, make sure to check out our wedding vendor directory. Until next time, happy planning.